Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Drew and Amber checking in again. Pillow Talk Part 2. And today we're going to be talking about married life. Um, what would we say it was?
Married life expectations versus realities.
That's good. I like that.
Mhm.
Amber and I will be coming up on our 1 year anniversary on September 4th. I can't believe it's almost here. Like, it's less than 30 days away.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is crazy. But, you know, for us, and we can only speak from our experience, this last almost 365 days has been complete bliss for us. Um, sometimes what would a lot of people? Oh, you don't agree, huh? What is it?
I don't disagree.
Go ahead.
Complete bliss is I don't disagree.
Okay.
It's been there have been some challenges though. So I mean complete bliss, I mean like nothing went wrong. We were just floating on cloud nine, we were just kissing each other like I don't think it was like that, but I do, believe that it's been a wonderful, amazing, fantabulous year. But I feel like what is the word you used again?
Bliss.
Complete bliss is like making it seem like it was all perfect, and it was not. That's the point I'm saying. It wasn't all rainbows and butterflies the entire year. So that's what I mean.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
It's been a good year for us, and we did have some people who, and I don't know if they intentionally meant it, but they were like, oh, that first year is kind of tough, and it might be a bit of a challenge, but for us, we didn't experience what people were saying.
Yeah, I think everyone has their own expectations of marriage. I remember when we first got engaged, when I told people at my job I work with, I got a lot of unintentional negative responses. So, for example, it'd be like, "Oh, I'm engaged. Well, how old are you? I'm 26. You're too young to get married. You don't need to get married that young." Or, oh, I'm engaged. Oh, that's great. It's marriage is a lot of work. Like you really gonna have to work on it. And I think people don't realize that when you say that to people that are newly engaged or new in their marriage, it almost sets a tone, like to be looking for something negative. Like, okay, I need to be looking for the hardships because everybody, like I said, I call it unintentional negativity because I know their heart was in the right place, but whether their experiences influenced them negatively or however the case may be, it was negative. Like it's almost like, okay, well, I need to be gear up, put on my army gear, and put the stuff under my eyes and get ready for war because that's what marriage is gonna be. So, but yeah, I definitely would say people made it seem like the first year is going to be terrible. It's going to be hard. You're just going to be struggling so hard. Those were a lot of the comments that I experienced. And I don't know if Drew experienced the same thing, but
I mean, I did get it. I did get it a little bit. Honestly, I did get a good handful of people who said that the first year is like the honeymoon stage, which it is. But for us, I think that we kind of had somewhat of an advantage because we dated for 6 years before we even got engaged. I mean,
Sure.
we met in college. We literally matured together from 22 to like 28. We literally like grew up, matured, helped each other to get where we are now. And so, again, I think that might have been a little bit of an advantage versus, some other couples that may have only dated for a year or two before they got engaged. So,
yeah,
we really knew a lot about each other going into it. Right?
agree. And that's not to discourage like other couples that haven't dated as long as us. That just because you may have dated 1 year or 2 years before you got married doesn't mean your first year is going to be terrible too. Just because you don't know each other as long. But I think we did have a small advantage because we've known each other. I'm 20. I'm 28. And I met Drew when I was 20.
Yeah, I was.
So that's 8 years of growing and maturing. So, but I will say, like, to not discourage other couples that have been dating not as long because you set what your marriage is going to be like, and right. I think our foundation honestly, like I have like such a passion for marriage and people's expectations, like I said, of marriage, where the expectation is when you first get married, that first year, I mean, it's knock out, drag out fights. You need to prepare to get to know each other because you don't know each other. You haven't lived together. You might have not. But I think what helps marriages, and given me and Drew are not gurus on marriage, so we are still learning. But I think what helped us was our foundation. You know, our we started out with our premarital class, which was amazing. Shout out to Pastor Bill and Des. They are amazing. Our pastor, the doc. I think our foundation was what helped us in our first year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, guys, we wanted to set ourselves up for success, you know, when it came to marriage, because we understood, you know, what God's intention for marriage was. And so we just wanted to make sure that we went through premarital counseling to get a better understanding of what God requires from Amber as a wife, from me as a husband, and then from us collectively as husband and wife. Because in God's eyes, now that we're married, we're one. And so, you know, I piggyback on what Amber just said about Pastor Stefan Bell and Desma. They really, you know, did their thing with that premarital counseling. And I always tell people that before we took the counseling, I knew Amber for 6 years. And the premarital counseling was 6 weeks. And I feel like I learned a lot more about Amber in those 6 weeks than I did in those whole 6 years that we dated. And I think it was because the content that we went over, like we learned about each other's history, why we behave the way that we behave, things, our triggers, our love language. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that we covered in that class that was detrimental and that really helped us to learn, you know, what makes the other person tick.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me was the family history. And we all have to understand that how you are raised shapes who you are, whether it's good, bad, in the middle. It shapes who you are. You may not even intentionally know that the way you respond to things, your defensiveness, your quick to anger, your, you know, fighting, if that's something that you do, like those could be because of stuff from your past.
Defensive. Yeah.
You know,
no, I'm just
put me out there.
I'm just saying.
Yes, I learned I'm very defensive. That was something that I learned about myself, and I learned through that class why I was so defensive, and because of that, I was able to recognize that, and I can work on it. You know, I actively work on. You know, I can still be a little defensive. When we were in the elevator earlier, and you were like, "What's wrong with your hair?" I'm like, "What's wrong with my hair? My hair looks fine," but you know, I would genuinely work on my defensiveness. That's something I know. So I would just encourage everybody, whether you are in a relationship, you are engaged, or you're still married, and whether if you're still in a relationship and you guys are dating, get to know each other. Take premarital before you get engaged. Do not get engaged and then take premarital if you can. Take it before so that you can see if you guys are equally yoked. If you are engaged, definitely take premarital. And if you are married and your marriage is your first year is not going the way that, you know, that maybe there's fighting or maybe there's not the communication, seek outside help, of course. But also understand that, like I said, your history might be shaping who you are and what you do. And I would just encourage everyone, like, invest in your marriage. You know, invest just like you plan out your financial future, you plan out your kids' future, you plan out, you know, what schools they want to go to, how you're going to save for college, how you guys want to buy this house. Do the same thing with your marriage. Like, invest in it. If you need outside help, whether it's counseling or, you know, you guys read a book together that helps with that. Like, invest the same amount of energy you do with your finances, your kids, your friends that you do with your marriage.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And there's nothing wrong, guys, with going to see a counselor when it comes to your marriage. Like, put your pride to the side and, you know, seek the help. Like, it's there. And if you truly, you know, want to succeed in life with marriage or with anything else, like, you seek the help and, you know, you do what you have to do to make sure it's successful. Yeah. And so, you know, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is, and I'm going to shout out one of my line sisters, my ace. She gave me probably, and I tell every person that asks me about my marriage or about marriage, and I'm talking about advice, I always reference what she said to me. She said, when you get married, be you, but be married. And what she meant was, don't try to be, like, now that I'm Andrew's wife, like, I have to do all this. I'm Andrew's wife, and I have to be this, and I have to do this, and I have to. No. I'm Amber. I'm his wife. I love him. There are things that have changed from us dating to us being married, but I'm still me. And Drew is still Drew. And I think, sometimes people get lost in that, lost in being Andrew's wife or being Amber's husband. Yes, you guys are those things, and yes, you are one, but don't forget yourself. Don't forget to be who you are in your marriage, and just be y'all. I think that's why we, like I said, the other last thing we'll say is, we'll leave you guys with, is one thing. Drew asked me maybe like a couple days ago, he was like, well, what do you think?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I said, with our 1 year anniversary coming up, if you could use one word to describe our relationship, what would it be?
Let's let him guess first. Let's let him think for a second. Okay, I'm going to tell him now.
Go ahead.
The word was synergy. Immediately I said it because Andrew and I, we work really well together. We're not a fighting couple, or we do get into small spats here and there. We are not perfect. I always tell people, like, me and Drew are not like, oh my God, we're just so perfect. No, we get into spats here and there. We disagree on things, but when it comes to talking about our finances, about even our kids, we talk about disciplining our kids already. We don't have kids, we just have a dog, but we are on the same page with a lot of things. And so that's why I think our first year of marriage, it's been synergy. We've just worked. It's like an old machine where we just work so well together. And I think it was taking the pressure off of, well, I'm his wife now. Like, I'm Amber, but I'm his wife. Take that pressure off. Our foundation, number 2, like, that was key to, like, us setting ourselves up for success. And I just think 3.
I want to say 3. I think 3 is that we're intentional. And that was the word that I used. She said synergy, and hers came like right away. Mine, I kind of was thinking about it because I was like, man, synergy, I got to follow up with something that's, 10 minutes. I'm just kidding. And so what I said was intentional. And really, guys, what I mean by that is everything that we do, like, we're intentional about. When it comes to our finances, we're intentional. When it comes to our relationship, we're intentional. We make sure that we do date nights. We make sure that, if we're too busy, we just sit down. Hey, babe, let me just talk to you. How was your day? How's your week? We communicate. We're open with each other.
If I'm upset with him, like, I mean, for me, it may take me a minute, but, like, I tell him, like, our pastor has a really great sweet, salty sweet, which those that go to the doc and have take Premier really know what that is. We just,
it's very important. And I think a lot of people, they don't want to rock the boat, or they'll just kind of keep it inside because they don't want to, like, disturb the peace. But it's necessary to express how you feel, because that's the only way that your significant other is going to know that something really bothers you, or that you really don't like something. So you just got to speak up.
Yeah. So we want to just this second pillow talk, guys, is really about. It's about marriage. It's about a little bit about our first year of marriage, of coming up on it, but also reevaluating either your marriages, whether you're engaged, whether you're dating. Like, things can be fixed. Things can be salvaged. It's about being intentional. It's about, setting your foundation up the right way, or reevaluating and then resetting up your foundation. And like I said, I love marriages. I love happy, healthy marriages. And like I said, I know we're not even a year in yet, so we have a lot to learn. But thankfully, we have foundation. We also have people ahead of us, like people at our church, our mentor couples. We also have our parents, that can show us what things we want to do, what things we want to do differently, so that our marriage is set on a better foundation. So last thing we'll leave you with, guys. I keep saying that. Yeah. No, but for real this time, before we go, I want to know how many years, for those that are watching that are married, how many years have you guys been married? Like, I want to see, there are people that have been married 30, 40, 50 years, and they're happy. They may have gone through ups and downs and bumps, but we want to know, like, man, we want to get there. I want to be 40 years in with this dude. So below, when you guys finish watching the video, making your comments, just drop that. Drop how many years you guys have been married successfully, and any other comments, any other advice you guys can give. Yeah, we'll take it. We are a learning couple here. So, you want to close that, babe?
Sure. You know, again, we just want to show everybody that, you know, healthy marriages still exist. And, you know, even though the divorce rate is very high and it's so easy for people to just say, I'm done, I give up, like, they exist. And, you know, we definitely aspire to be one of those couples because we went into our relationship saying that divorce was not an option regardless. And so that's just, you know, how we feel. And hopefully, again, you know, we were able to inspire you guys with how our relationship works. And something that we said tonight, you know, will kind of resonate with you. But yeah, that's all we got. Thanks again for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
And stay tuned for episode number 3.
See you later.